So I am going to do an I do for the second focus question for our story, the Veldt. And our focus question is this. So how does the setting of the story impact the actions of the characters? So that's there's two parts there. So we need to look at the setting. Again, that's the time and place that the story takes place. And we need to think about how that influences or impacts how the characters behave or act. So I'm going to go over to my story. And this says it starts on chunk 3. So I'm going to go scroll down to chunk 3. Starts here. And I'm going to see if I can find anywhere where the setting might be impacting the characters, how they behave or their actions. And as I do that, I'm going to make sure I'm doing my annotations. I'm underlining really strong descriptions. I am writing any questions or ideas I have. I'm highlighting vocabulary that I'm unsure of. Okay, so it says, I don't know, she said, blowing her nose, sitting down in a chair that immediately began to rock and comfort her. Maybe I don't have enough to do. Maybe I have time to think too much. Why don't we shut the whole house off for a few days and take a vacation? You mean you want to fry my eggs for me? Yes, she nodded. And damn my socks? Yes, a frantic, watery-eyed nodding. So I'm going to stop there, and I'm kind of going to highlight this whole conversation. Because I think the mother here, Lydia, is getting a little nervous about what's happening in the nursery. So I'm just going to kind of make a comment to the side. Okay, and kind of like we did with Harrison Bergeron, I'm going to go and I think it's kind of humorous that she's getting so upset, but I also think it's a little bit scary, so I'm going to put an exclamation point there. Okay, so they continue, and it says, and sweep the house? Yes, yes, oh yes. But I thought that's why we bought this house, so we wouldn't have to do anything. That's just it. I feel like I don't belong here. The house is wife and mother now, and nursemaid. Can I compete with an African Veldt? Can I give a bath and scrub the children as efficiently or quickly as the automatic scrub bath can? I cannot. And it isn't just me, it's you. You've been awfully nervous lately. So I think up to this point, it looks like Lydia is now questioning whether she has any purpose, whether we need to even have mothers and fathers, or if this technology is just taking over. So I'm just going to maybe write a question here. So is Lydia nervous that she might not have a purpose anymore? Okay, I'm going to add that comment. I suppose I have been smoking too much. You look as if you didn't know what to do with yourself in this house either. You smoke a little more every morning and drink a little more every afternoon and need a little more sedative every night. You're beginning to feel unnecessary too. Am I? He paused and tried to feel into himself to see what was really there. Oh, George, she looked beyond him at the nursery door. Those lions can't get out of there, can they? He looked at the door and saw it tremble as if something had jumped against it from the other side. Of course not, he said. All right, so there's a lot of information there. Let's see. So I noticed that the father here, George, is also starting to behave differently. He is drinking and smoking more than normal, which I know to be kind of a sign of someone being stressed out. A lot of times they'll do that. So maybe he's stressed out here. So, and then I thought this last line was really interesting too. Okay, so it's like she's starting to question whether or not what's happening in the nursery is actually real. Is it becoming real? So I'm going to add my little comment there. So I'm kind of noticing a lot of character change in this section, which is really good because that's the question we're trying to answer. How the setting of the Veldt, the setting of the house, and the fact that the house is kind of like a smart house. It can do all the things that humans can do. And it's starting to really affect our characters. So I'm going to go over to my double entry journal, and I am going to write some evidence. So I think some evidence that tells me that they're really starting to change is this. So the house is wife and mother now, and nursemaid. So this is what Lydia said. Can I compete with an African Veldt? Remember, she's starting to question if she's really necessary. Can I give a bath and scrub the children as efficiently or quickly as the automatic scrub bath can? I cannot, so she knows she can't. And isn't it true? So this is where we see where the father is also changing. So not, and it isn't just me, sorry. And it isn't just me, it's you. You've been awfully nervous lately. So the father is also changing. You've been awfully and he says, I suppose I have been smoking too much. Okay, so that's a lot of character change in that chunk, which is good because that's exactly what we're trying to answer. So that was in chunk 3, so I'm going to make sure that I note that. And my little comment, I'm kind of taking from what I said before, but so the house does all of the work better than what Lydia can do. So it's kind of taking over her purpose, her reason for being there. Since they both don't have as much work to do, are they bored? I'm kind of wondering. So since they both don't have much work to do, are they bored? Are they starting to get bored? Is this not maybe as great as they originally thought? So I'm now going to make it an inference. So I can infer that Lydia and George are changing because the house does everything and they do not feel like they have a purpose. I can also infer that the Veldt is starting to make them feel nervous and afraid because of how real it seems. So I'm kind of just showing my inferences about the character change, even noting that they have changed here in my evidence and in my comments. So that is that is an example for you to follow. So you should follow the same pattern as you work through the rest of this section. Okay, good luck.